Hey everybody, it's Randy with Lowbuck LS again, and it's time for another Junkyard trip. Today I'm going to show you how to get a cheap set of injectors from the Junkyard. I'm at Pick and Pull in Calgary, and I'm going to get a set of injectors to decap and flow test. But first I want to give a shout out to my daughter. She made my first piece of Lowbuck LS merch. She made this hat, handmade, hand-painted, the logo and stuff, and she gave it to me for Christmas, so it's my first piece of Lowbuck LS merch, so thanks to my daughter Kaylin. And now let's head inside the Pick and Pull here and find us a set of injectors to decap. So I'll talk to you shortly here once we're inside. Okay, so I think we're inside Pick and Pull now. I think I found a suitable donor here. I think it's like a 2002 Tahoe or something. And I think it's cheaper for me to take the whole intake manifold than to just take out the injectors. So I think I'm going to rip off the whole intake manifold. So we'll get started here. So first of all, I'm going to cut all the wires and cables and even the throttle cables and stuff and everything attached to this intake manifold so we can get ready to unbolt it here. Okay, so I got the throttle cables cut here. I cut back here. I cut the wiring for the injectors. These ones I just cut off here. So now I'm going to take a Torx socket and undo the fuel rails here and take the fuel hoses off where it connects to the fuel rail. Okay, as you can see, I stopped filming in the Pick and Pull at this point. Mainly because some people came up and were working on the car beside me, and I kind of felt like an idiot talking to my camera, so I wrapped it up. But I got that manifold ripped off and took it to the checkout, and it turns out that you can't just do that. Expect to pay for a manifold and get the injectors and everything for free, because I went up to the checkout and said, yeah, I'd like this manifold, and they're like, okay, manifold will be this much, and the injectors will be this much, and throttle body will be this much more, and throttle position sensor, and manifold air pressure sensor. So I ended up ripping the injectors out of the manifold right in the lobby beside the checkout at Pick and Pull. And as you can see, I've got 8 injectors here on the workbench, so I'm going to get them cleaned up here and find out what part number and stuff is on them and take it from there. Okay, so I got those injectors all cleaned up on the outside, and I found out something interesting when I looked at the part number on them. It's kind of hard to see on there, so I wrote it down on the paper. It's a Denso fuel injector 25326903, and those are actually a flex fuel. I guess the Tahoe that I randomly picked there was a flex fuel model. So these, according to Google, these injectors actually flow about 36 pounds an hour at 58 psi fuel pressure. So that's already, I think the ones in my truck are 24 pounds, so that's already 50% bigger without decapping them. So now I've got to decide. I'm actually thinking about just throwing them in as is, because that should give me quite a bit more fuel already. But either way, I'm going to build a test rig so I can flow test these and make sure now that I got them cleaned up on the outside, I want to make sure they're good on the inside and all flow a reasonable amount. And I'll also I'll pull one of the injectors out of the truck and compare the ones that are currently in the truck to these ones that I got from the Junkyard. So I think that's about all for this week. Happy New Year. It's New Year's Day today, 2019. And like I mentioned, I'll be putting out videos, main videos, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I may throw in a little extra or bonus material in between those Tuesday videos from time to time. Okay, and for those of you that have stuck around to the end, I'll give you a little preview of my injector test rig that I just had an idea for. So it's basically the same pressurized chamber I was using when I was messing with my Arduino boost controller. But basically I took a 1/2-inch NPT pipe plug, drilled a 1/2-inch hole in it, and then made it one size bigger with a step bit, so the injector will just fit in there. And I'm going to thread it into the bottom of this chamber and fill the chamber about to there with mineral spirits. There's another port in the top of the chamber. I'll put compressed air at 58 psi to simulate fuel rail pressure, and it'll be going through a regulator, so as it pumps the fuel down, it'll still maintain that 58 psi pressure. And yeah, then I'm going to have to build a little clamp or something to hold the injector in place there. But I'm thinking I'll just weld a couple tabs off of this pipe plug, and then have a plate down here and either a couple long bolts or pieces of all thread or ready rod or whatever. And then for now I'll just have a push button to run 12 volts to fire the injector. But I want to either rig up, either build an Arduino program to pulse the injector at various pulse rates, or rig up some kind of timer to so instead of doing just static all the way on testing, you can do some dynamic flow testing as well. So that'll be what's coming next week. So have a good week, have a happy new year, and we'll talk to you soon.